Welcome back, fellow readers. This is Suave, and today we're going to be taking a look at a light novel series that honestly I had no idea what I was diving into when I first saw this title and this book cover. But when I finished it, I realized that this series had no business being as fun, as enjoyable as it was. So today we're going to be taking a look at Trapped in a Dating Sim, The World of Otome Games is Tough for Mobs, Volume 1. This is written by Yomu Mishima, illustrated by Monda, translated by Alyssa Orton-Niioka, and published by 7 Seas. So the question becomes, what is this story all about? Well, to put it simply, it's about a young man who gets reincarnated as a background character in this Otome game world, and he sort of turns this whole world upside down. So what do I mean by that? Well, the book does a very good job of first explaining what an Otome game is. And to put it simply, it's a dating simulator game where you play traditionally as a female protagonist. You play through this storyline, and along the way you're trying to build a romantic relationship with all these different men, also known as your love interests. However, this story doesn't revolve around the female protagonist like it normally would for an Otome game. Instead, we're following a young man who's being forced to play this Otome game for his sister, and that's because the people who made this game traditionally made the other game that's made for men. And so this game has a lot of themes and mechanics that women just aren't interested in. Has fantasy, mech warriors, strategy, all these different mechanics that aren't usually in an Otome game that these women did not like, so they're not as interested in playing it anymore. And she just wants him to play it and complete it so that she can just enjoy all the romantic scenes when she comes back from vacation. And she's kind of blackmailing him a little bit, which is why he kind of falls into it. Unfortunately, he hates this game so much that he decides to just burn through it the entire weekend so he can get it over with as quick as possible. And he kind of just forgets to eat and drink. And as he's going out, he kind of just perishes due to malnutrition. So now our main character finds himself reincarnated as a young boy named Leon. And over time, he sort of does regain his memories of his previous life, but in this world, he sort of already accepts that this is his new life, and this is the society that he lives in. You see, normally when you play a dating sim game, you are automatically maybe in a school or some other setting, you're all grown up, and you're ready to play through this story. However, the game developers actually built this entire world, this setting, the geography, political structure. So there's a whole living, breathing world that's behind this game that you normally don't see. And this is the world that Leon finds himself in, and this is what he has to live through and endure. Now remember, this isn't some virtual world that he can just log out of. This is a living, breathing world. And in this Otome game world, women rule this society. Now that doesn't mean men don't have an important place in this part. It just means that men have to abide and appeal to these women. And Leon grows up in this society, and he doesn't really like how the society is being ran and how the laws are structured and the hierarchy, because he grows up in his own family. He's a young boy, he has his actual family, and he actually cares about his new family. You see, his dad is treated a little unfairly, and it's actually not by his mom. You see, in this society, women are okay to mingle around with as many men as they want. And there's different hierarchies. So there's this woman who is a much higher rank than his family, and she's associated with his father because she had children with his father a long time ago. And so she uses her power to sort of strut around and take control of his family and really drain their family's resources because she believes that whatever he gets belongs to her. And this is what Leon has to put up with, starting from 5 years old all the way up to his teenage years. Now our main character Leon is actually very interesting because he's not dumb. He recognizes what this world is and what it's all about. This is the Otome game world that he played through right before he died. Now he doesn't remember every single little detail, but he does remember a lot of key points, because you gotta remember, he wasn't interested in this game. He just wanted to burn through it as quick as possible, but he remembers the characters, the story plot. So he starts doing the math, and what he sees is that based on the current year that it is and what the year was in the game, he sort of estimates that the main protagonist, the female main protagonist, is probably around the same age as him right now. And it's going to take a few years before they actually show up to school and they start playing the setting that is in the game world. So right then and there, he makes a firm decision for himself. He says, I'm just going to let this story play out. I'm not going to interfere with the story. These people can do whatever they want because I know that the story plays out and has a happy ending. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep away from it. I'm going to grab some gear because I know where all the gear is. I'm going to make some money because I know how to make money in this game, so I'm going to be rich. And then I'm going to find myself a cute background character girl, marry her. We're going to go to an isolated part of the world, and we're going to live happily ever after in this peaceful life. Easy, right? Now, I'm not going to lie, the first half of the story was actually a really slog to get through. The author tries to drill the society into your head over and over and over. And, there's still some interesting parts in between. There's a little bit of adventure, but it really doesn't get good until you get to the second half where you start interacting with all the characters and Leon's a little bit grown up and he's in this school. And in order to really understand what makes this series so great, I have to tell you one little secret that happens in this story. So Leon is old enough to attend the school, and this is the school where all the main characters are attending. So you have the female protagonist, you have the villainess, you have the men who are the love interests, you have all these characters all in this school, and they're all in the same year as Leon. And so Leon notices this, and he's like, I'm just going to keep it cool. Just do my own thing as a background character. I'm not going to talk to these people at all. And so Leon kind of just goes around and does that. But he notices that there's a little trend going on and something's a little suspicious. You see, he does recognize that there are game events that do happen in the game and they're being triggered as they normally should. But he doesn't see the female protagonist. Her name is Olivia. Instead, he finds this girl named Mary in the middle of all this, and he has no idea who this Mary chick is. He just knows that for some reason she's in Olivia's place where Mary is interacting with the villainess, and she's catching the attention of all these the important guys, the male interest, the love interest in this game. And this, my friends, is where the story really takes off and just goes off the walls crazy. Because this is the point of the story where Leon goes full tinfoil hat mode. He starts theorizing all these different outcomes and possibilities that could happen if Olivia doesn't achieve her goal like she does in the main game. So he's seeing this Mary chick, and for some reason she's trying to grab all 5 of these dudes at the same time. And so he's like, okay, if Olivia's not gonna play through the story, that means she's not gonna end up marrying the prince. And if she doesn't marry the prince, then she's not gonna become this thing. And if she doesn't become this thing, then this bad thing might happen. And if this girl takes control and she has all 5 of these guys, then there's gonna be no political balance between these nations. All these countries are going to have one full military might under this girl, and we're going to live under a dictatorship, and all this bad stuff and calamities are going to happen if Olivia doesn't go through and play through this story. And that leads him to one conclusion. His life will not be at peace, and he will not be able to enjoy that quiet life with his beautiful wife that he thought he would. And so he needs to make a decision now. And so this, my friends, is what the story is all about. It's about this conflict where Leon just wants to enjoy a peaceful life in this new world, and this Mary chick is going to screw it all up because she's not playing the game the way it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be Olivia, and Olivia's still in this game. She's still wandering around in school, but she's not able to trigger these story events that normally would happen to her. You see, this is where the story finally won me over, and it's because of Leon. Leon is so pissed off at everything that's going on. He's born in a world that is unfair to him. He doesn't like how his family is being treated. He hates all these characters. He doesn't give one flying flip about any of these main characters. He just wants to live a life at peace, and someone is here to screw it all up. So when Leon gets his moment to shine and he gets to pop off, he really pops off. And it's just glorious to really witness what he says and what he does to all these characters. And I really don't want to spoil anything that he does because it's really enjoyable when you read through it to see what exactly he does. But okay, I'll give you one little hint. Remember how I said in the beginning that there are mech warriors in this game? That's right, mech warriors. That's all I'm going to say. Now you have to remember, this is a living, breathing society. This isn't just some game world where you can just do whatever you want and nothing bad's going to happen to you. When everything's all said and done, there's a lot of consequences that happen in the end. And all these main characters, they are not where they're supposed to be in terms of the game's plot, the actual game that Leon played through in his previous life. And that's what makes this series so exciting, is that there's so many random actions and repercussions that happen that you have no idea where the story is going to go next. It could literally go anywhere. And when you read that epilogue, you're going to freak out. You're going to want to pick up that next volume so you can see what happens next. Now, the author of this story actually did a really good job of introducing this story to his target audience. You see, this is not a traditional dating sim novel. This is not a traditional Otome game novel. And you get that right in the cover. I mean, right in the front, you have this cute girl. She has really nice curves. And in the back, you have this mischievous guy. He's spray painting over all the pretty boys on the poster. This is just a story about a guy who's pissed off that he's reincarnated into a world that he doesn't want to be a part of, but now he has to live through it and make the best of it. And the author's intention is to introduce people like me who don't play Otome games and bring us into this Otome game world and just have complete fun with it. And in my opinion, I believe the author definitely achieved that goal. I definitely had a blast reading through it. And a little bit of the fan service with the cute girls really helped out too. Now, when it comes to the characters in this story, I thought the characters were done really well. In fact, I actually liked some of the characters that I didn't think I would like, or some of the characters that I just didn't think twice about. And when these characters are talking to each other and you read through this dialogue, you can really feel the emotion that they're portraying in this. And I found myself really enjoying the dialogue, and I found myself really emotionally invested in these characters in the end. And overall, I thought the setting and the plot of the story was very clear. I never found myself lost, and the plot was very straightforward as to where we were going to go. Very early on, when you're following Leon, you know his thought process behind all this, and so you kind of get a clear vision of where this story is about to lead up to. Now, the final verdict for me when it comes to this book is that it is a solid read. Honestly, even though the first half of the book was kind of a slugfest, when you reach that second half of the book, you're going to have a complete blast, I promise you. And that's because when you read through that first half, you sort of get the knowledge that you need in order to really appreciate the second half. And honestly, I'm already sold on volume 2. The moment I see it, I'm just going to scoop it up so I can see where the story's going to go next. Because when you read through that epilogue, you're going to want to know what happens next. And that, my friends, is Trapped in a Dating Sim. The World of Otome Games is Tough for Mobs, Volume 1. Let me know what you think about this title down below. And if you want to see more light novel reviews like this, make sure to hit that subscribe, because we're going to be bringing more light novel reviews very, very soon. And if you like this video, make sure you hit that like button. And with that, I will see you all next time. Bye, everyone.